Yo guys, VisionSGen here, back with more Minecraft content. Today's episode number 19, we'll go into detail on the fishing aspect of Minecraft, providing everything you need to know on how best to fish, tips and tricks, resources, rare loot, as well as sharing my experiences and gameplay for the first time playing Minecraft Survival in over 10 years. Just to remind you guys, if you are new to the channel on this series. So on that note, let's get right into things. So I guess first things first, just a general overview. Minecraft fishing is a peaceful, enjoyable, and also rewarding aspect in Minecraft Survival. Definitely an underrated aspect as well, with various different elements which influence better loot and better chances of obtaining valuable items, which I'll discuss in this video. But before I break this down, for anyone new to this series, this ultimate goal of this series of my Minecraft world and the series itself is to basically complete everything there is to do in Minecraft Survival. As I said, this is episode 19 with load of episodes all previously sort of about the world in itself, trial chambers, ancient cities, the nether, all of that sort of stuff, and we're working our way to completing Minecraft and doing every single thing there is to do in Minecraft, from farming, builds, both small and large scale, exploration of all of the different biomes in the game, finding, looting, and defeating every single structure and boss in the game as well. And as I said, this is the first time I'm playing Survival in over 10 years. I was originally one of the first players, I played this back in the day, as soon as it came out on Xbox, but then I just sort of went away from playing Survival and started getting into creative, and then just didn't play Minecraft for so long. And then I set out this year, when we got into our new phase of playing Minecraft, as you do every other year, I wanted to complete Minecraft properly. I wanted to do everything there was to do, because I saw some stuff on YouTube, and I saw there was so much more going on, and I just could not handle the fact that I hadn't even tried it. Most of these different things like ancient cities, even the end in itself, how much it had changed after the dragon fight, all of the sort of stuff like that, I had to go and explore and defeat all of these things for myself and conquer and basically complete Minecraft. So I just wanted to give you guys a little idea on the channel in itself and this series, because I am a sort of a small creator, as you can tell by the subscriber count. I'm trying to grow a channel by producing weekly Minecraft content, and this just happens to be the next episode in the series. Fishing, something I really enjoy. As for fishing itself, it's one of Minecraft's most simple and yet effective methods at obtaining loot whilst also being safe for the most part, of course. And on hardcore, this is especially a very important strategy for early game starts, to try and get these sort of essentials and those valuable items that you maybe would risk too much of your life in order to obtain. And this is definitely something that is, like I said, for the most part underappreciated, or at least underused in its sort of in its entirety. Now, in our world, we have several different fishing areas that I choose to fish in, with a fishing village over the other side of the kingdom, a small fishing hut in my own base, aka the kingdom, my friend's small sort of island base with an amazing fishing hut that he's designed, and various different other areas around the base and the world in itself. But for the most part, you can fish pretty much anywhere on this game that suits you for your style and your needs. Now, as you can see in the gameplay, for the most part, this is me playing on my hardcore world as well. Fishing is literally where I started. I saw a local village and just thought, you know what? Fishing is so important in this game and so easy and useful, and again, like I said, really fun, simple, and peaceful, that I thought, let's just set up a fishing village and let's just start there. And that is pretty much how this hardcore survival world, that is something different outside of the actual world in itself that I've got for this series, but something I've been grinding in the background, and just goes to show that this is exactly the sort of same strategy that I've sort of adopted and adapted to within my own game on hardcore. So just in case you guys weren't aware how good of a strategy this is for your hardcore survival worlds. Now, in our world, like I said, there's the various different spaces that I go to for fishing. With regards to loot and resources, fishing can provide you with an abundance of unique, valuable items, from enchanted books, of course, fish in itself as a food source, and plenty of generic items which are made easier to farm via this method. Now, I'm going to quickly break down all of the possible resources that you can obtain via fishing, in case you guys weren't aware or needed a quick breakdown, just to sort of summarize everything you can actually obtain. So firstly, the loot is categorized into different types of sort of catches, with 4 different categories: fish, junk, treasure, and other. So basically like the special stuff. The probabilities and items depend on factors like the biome you're in, the weather, whether it's at night, enchantments on your fishing rod, i.e. the sort of luck of the sea or the lure, all of that sort of stuff will all sort of influence your chances at catching these sort of rare items and stuff like that. So just bear that in mind. Now, the number one item that you're obviously going to obtain is fish, with an 85% base chance of obtaining this. This is literally one of the most common items that you'll get while you're fishing. And raw cod as well seems to be the most common fish that you'll find, with a 60% chance of finding this. Now, this is literally the most common fish, especially in non-specific biomes. Raw salmon has a 25% chance of catching, less common than a cod, but still frequent, as well as tropical fish with a 2% chance of catching, so pretty much a rare item and found more in warm ocean biomes. And then there's the puffer fish with a 13% chance of fish catches, also rare but more common in sort of warm biomes as well. Then you have basically a 10% chance of finding junk, and junk items are typically sort of less valuable or more likely to be caught in non-optimal conditions, like fishing in like small pools or without the luck of the sea enchantment,
And the
which
polished
consists of
sandstone
the
pretty nice as
following.
well.
So you can find things
Yeah,
like
we'll
lily
build some
pads, common in
cool
swamp
houses
biomes.
next to like a
You
little
can find
village.
bowls, a basic crafting item. You can find a fishing rod that are often damaged, sometimes enchanted, which are pretty much useful, especially if you're going to put them into an anvil,
Oh
immerse them
my
to
god.
create a godlike fishing rod, which you can build up if you spend enough time fishing. You can also find leather, a basic resource, leather boots, usually damaged as well, but sometimes enchanted as well, but for the most part pretty useless. Rotten flesh, common zombie drops, which everyone can obtain pretty easily, but you can get from this as well. Sticks, a basic item as well. String, useful for crafting things like bows or fishing rods as well. Water bottles, a glass bottle filled with water. Bones, useful for taming wolves or crafting bone meal. Ink sacks, basically dropped by killing squids, and they're useful for dyeing stuff, so I guess that's always useful. And then tripwire hooks, which I guess isn't really useful, but it's used a redstone component and can be used for certain things if you sort of desire. And then there's also treasure with a 5% base chance. Treasure items are rare and valuable, and their drop rate increases with the luck of the sea enchantment, where you can basically catch sort of things like bows, which are often enchanted and sometimes damaged, as well as enchanted books, which can have various different enchantments, including sort of fishing specific ones like lure or luck of the sea in itself. Fishing rods, often enchanted as well and sometimes damaged. And then as well as this, you can find name tags used to name mobs, Nautilus shells, which are rare and used to craft conduits, and then saddles, which are of course useful for riding things like horses, pigs, and striders. Now it's also worth noting that fishing always grants you a small amount of XP, 1 to 6 per catch, and if you have a mending fishing rod, you are never going to lose this, so just bear that in mind. So that's always very useful because you're always going to get XP, and it's sort of basically really sort of helpful in the grand scheme of things, especially if you like fishing and you have plenty of different areas that you like to do it at. Like I said, it's a peaceful experience for the most part, so you can just sit there for ages. You can almost just do something in the background on your phone as well. It's pretty, if you have your headset on or the sound of the TV cranked, you can basically tell when you've lured a fish, or just look up every couple of seconds. It's that easy. You can multitask it as well. But for the most part, as well as this, you can also find things from drown drops in the Bedrock Edition. It's rare, but fishing can yield items dropped by drown mobs such as copper ingots, gold ingots, and even tridents, which are extremely rare and only found from the drowned. Now, it's also important to note factors that are affecting loot and your chances. That, like I said, and I've alluded to all throughout, the luck of the sea enchantment is crucial for fishing, as it increases the chance of treasure up to 11.3% when you have luck of the sea 3, which is extremely crucial as it's going to over double the actual chance of getting treasure, and also decreases your junk down to 4.1% to avoid you catching wasted resources and to enhance your chance at finding rarer items as well, because you're not going to obtain junk items, but instead you're going to have more chance at getting rarer items, which are more useful. So basically, it also having the lure enchantment also reduces the wait time for a catch, and basically also indirectly increases the efficiency or correlates directly to having better chances at getting rarer loot as well. In addition to this, the biome you're fishing in changes certain elements and increases chances of items. Warm ocean biomes increase the chance of tropical fish and pufferfish being caught. Fishing in rain slightly increases the chances of a bite as well. The water conditions also matter. Fishing in open water, at least 2 blocks deep, exposed to the sky, yields better loot than in a small enclosed pool, so just bear that in mind, especially if you're trying to spend hours sort of fishing over a certain period. That is also going to massively increase your chances at finding rare loot. I genuinely think fishing is massively underappreciated, as I've alluded to all throughout this video. In this game, it's so fun, it's so peaceful, and for the most part, it's so useful, and also one, if not the most peaceful and blissful experience to say the least, especially for new players who maybe aren't that comfortable exploring at night. So this is something you could do at night in your worlds, or on peaceful, of course, used to obtain things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily get on sort of going out in the open. Like I said, if you're a newer player or a returning player like myself and haven't played for ages, definitely get into this and utilize the fact that it's so useful, especially in hardcore, as I've said. Now, in summary, fishing is a very effective early game method for obtaining loot, relatively safe, but depends on, of course, where you choose to fish from. Having a safer environment definitely makes it far more peaceful and enjoyable, and just as a tip, I guess, from my own experience, I'd highly recommend just trying fishing at various different times in your world. You can obtain plenty of useful and rare items that will help you no matter which sort of stage you are at in the world, and also mending, you can find that during this. So if you aren't in a stage where you have a trading hall, or you can't sort of trade with villagers in order to get mending, or whatever it may be, and you haven't found it, this is a really good method. Of course, it will take far longer than maybe other methods, but if you're early game and you really want mending, this is a really good way. This is how I actually got mending for the first time in my world. It was rare, I won't lie. I can't remember how long it actually took, but it did take some time, but it's definitely doable, so just bear that in mind as well. With that said, that's pretty much the video in itself. If you guys have enjoyed the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's a massive helps me out, and comment down below if you have any tips that you may have for returning players like myself, or any new players that have never played this game and want to fish as well. So let me know down below in the comments and we'll get right back to you. I'm Fishing SGen. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.